Good morning, sir. Welcome to my good school.
Thank you.
First, we'll have an introduction of you. So, we'll brief everyone about your history, your background, and then we'll move on to the Q&A session.
Okay.
Dr. Pramod Sharma is a distinguished educator with over 46 years of experience in teaching and school leadership. He began his career as a chemistry teacher at the Doon School in 1972 and later taught internationally in Afghanistan and Nigeria. His leadership journey spans nearly 3 decades as principal of renowned schools such as Yadavindra Public School, Patiala, Mayo College, Ajmer, and Genesis Global School, Noida. At Mayo College, under his 13-year stewardship, the school consistently ranked among India's top residential schools, reflecting his ability to balance tradition with modern educational practices. Throughout his career, Dr. Sharma has been recognized for his outstanding contributions to education. He received the National Award for Teachers from the President of India in the year 2000 and the Education World Lifetime Achievement in Education Leadership Award in 2018. He has also served on the CBSE governing body, chaired the Indian Public Schools Conference, and contributed to international forums like Round Square. Currently, as founder, principal, and director of Genesis Global School, he continues to inspire students and educators alike through his vision of holistic and future ready education. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
So now we will go ahead with the Q&A session. Now I
Sure.
have some questions for you myself.
Please.
So I can ask. Okay. With an intensive background in education, what do you think are some flaws in our education system and what changes would you like to bring?
No great flaw as such that I can think of because different schools practice different things, and it is depends upon the school leadership what one does. I think the education should be inclusive. In that term of the in that term means that all children, irrespective of their background, they should be able to join school which provides holistic education, which provides learning. And this is not happening because almost 4 crore or plus students are out of school system in this country today. While we dream big and think that we are becoming world power and becoming developed, but unless we bring the school children into education, children into a school education, uh, our progress cannot be really quantified.
Thank you, sir. And now looking ahead, what qualities do you feel future school leaders will need to succeed in a rapidly changing world?
School leaders would need to know about technology. Now everybody is talking about AI, including school children today are using AI for different resources. But if you use AI as a resource, then there is no problem. But there are children who are using AI to complete their homework or complete their assignment, which perhaps cannot be considered good. I'm sure as AI progresses, there will be programs which will be able to identify what is genuinely done by the student and which is not done by the student. So that is one part. But the belief in the holistic education will remain. That means children must try their hand at sports, must try at different activities, communication skills, which will always remain important if they can speak well, organize their thoughts properly. So, all this will be very, very important. And what everybody has certain challenges. Whatever challenges one has to move ahead in spite of those challenges, and that belief in oneself would be of utmost importance for children today.
Thank you, sir. Now, you have taught internationally in Afghanistan. So,
Yes.
Afghanistan is a country where girls' education is not really allowed because of the Taliban. So, how was your experience there? And what was the condition of girls' education at that time?
I am talking about 76 to 1980. Now, that was a different world. There was no Taliban. The country was ruled by the kings then, and one of the king had he got himself elected as president, and he was ruling when I went in 76. Just to explain, today children and even adults do not realize what Afghanistan was, because in last so many years we only hear bad news. The girls are not allowed to go to university, not allowed to go to school, and parda is a very strongly adhered to system. But the Afghanistan I am talking about, I'll just paint a picture. My 3 days in Afghanistan, and I was sleeping with a in a friend's house, and he knocked at night and said, "Pramod, get ready, and we are going out." I looked at my watch and I said, 12 o'clock midnight. Where are we going? And so he shouted from outside. He said, "Part your curtains and look outside." So I parted my curtains and looked outside. The snow had started falling. And so I got dressed, came out. You will not believe, the entire Kabul was outside on the streets. Women, children, men, everybody. And all the hawkers were on the street. All the kebab shops had opened, ice cream shops had opened, juice shops had opened. The whole town was outside. And people were hugging strangers and saying, Barfe Awwal Mubarak, meaning first snow of the season, greetings of that. And so it was a different world altogether. Everybody went out into the outfields of Kabul, and people partied, and there were picnics every Sunday. It was a different world altogether. The women wore all kinds of dresses, and Western dresses included. And so, very permissive Kabul. So, I, in fact, learned Persian. I was so impressed. I spoke fluent Persian then. It was such a beautiful country. We destroyed all that.
Thank you, sir. It was really lovely to hear the old side of Afghanistan. So that's all from my side. Now I would like to hand it over to the audience.
Kajal, you had some questions?
Yes, sir. Uh, so my question is, what do
Yes.
you think is what do you think is most important, skill or hard work? And can hard work replace skill?
What did you say? Hard work or
Skills.
Skill.
skill? Oh, of course, of course. There is no denying that hard work is more important. But if you are skilled, then less hard work you will be able to achieve all that you for that you require very hard work. So determination is there is no denying that determination is definitely required. I would like to talk about Stephen Hawking, who was a student, and at 21 he was diagnosed with a disease which slowly paralyzed him. He was interested in science, and he refused to give up. So he kept on studying, researching, writing with the help of computer voice. Despite of his disability, he became one of the world's greatest scientists. So the takeaway, as since you asked me this question, your challenges do not define you. Your determination does. So you have to have work hard, but be very determined to succeed to get what you want in life.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I have one more question.
Yes, please.
Sir, we can see many scams in this uh, in many exams, very competitive exams such as SSC NEET.
Yes.
So who can bring change to this? And in future, when we have to give these exams, can this all be changed?
The exams, those competitive exams cannot change because there are far too many people who are wanting those seats. In India, the problem is that we have less seats uh, in the educational institutions of reputation, and everyone wants those seats. So if it will not be in this pattern of education, it would be the assessment would be different. But there would be definitely competition. There would definitely be the people who succeed would definitely need to work very hard because the seats are very much in demand. Okay, so you will have to work hard. There is no shortcut to that. And with a skill set, obviously, it will be easier for you.
Thank you,
Kajal,
sir.
you wish to say?
Rishi?
Over to you, Kajal.
No, no. Kajal has asked a question. Khushi, do you have a question?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
So good morning, sir.
Good
So,
morning.
so there are two questions from my side to you. So first one is like, do you believe marks are, marks define a student's future, or is there something more powerful than grades? Because nowadays we hear a lot of times that education is not important, skills are. But at the same time, when we see the big leaders of our world, like Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, or Bill Gates, they got a degree from Harvard, Stanford, and whatnot. So what are your points?
Uh, till we have a better system, marks will have their place, no doubt. But ultimately, learning is much more important. Your enabling skills are more important. But since all that may not be in place soon in this country, marks will remain important. But luckily, the universities you talked about, they do not go by marks alone. They look at your entire portfolio, what you have done, how you have prepared yourself for a particular course. So that is what decides your getting seats. And the people you named, Elon Musk, all these people are the pathfinders. They have created a path where none existed. They have thought of new things in the world, and they have chosen those and excelled in those areas which were not known. Am I mute?
No, no, no,
Am,
we can hear you.
okay. So, uh, so uh, So finding new things, finding paths which have not been traversed before is extremely important, and that should continue. Whatever you think you can do well, you must learn to do well in spite of your handicaps if you have any.
Yes, sir. And if you could sum up your 46 years of experience in just one line, so what it would be?
Well, let me correct you. It's 53 now. It was 46 when this was, note was written, perhaps. So I joined Dune School in 72. So if you count, it is about 52 years back. And the journey, my life's journey is I came from uh, Gorakhpur, which is uh, a town which not very many people had heard of then, till the chief minister of UP came from there. So it wasn't a great place for education, and I got into Doon School to teach, where other teachers were coming from Cambridge, Stephens, and all the uh, great places of learning. So it has been a huge journey from Gorakhpur to Doon School, and I have no hesitation in saying that in my class there were lots of words which I did not pronounce correctly. And when I did not pronounce some words correctly, the children was would use the same word without saying that I have pronounced it wrongly in some other context, so that I understand that that is how the word is to be pronounced. So it is Doon School students who have taught me to become a teacher, actually. I must give them credit.
Thank you, sir.
I just want to jump in here. I
Yeah.
did see that, you know, to teaching was not your original choice of career. So just
Yes.
talk us through that and how teaching and how the teaching journey has been with you, and why, what is, how would you sort of think of it as a career for children going forward?
Okay. Uh, when I finished my post graduation MSc in chemistry in 1970, that time India did not have many opportunities. The country was passing through a bad phase in food production, and India was surviving in 67, 68 on the PL 480 grant, as it was called, which brought wheat donations from America to India, which kept us from starving. So that was the kind of scenario. There were not many jobs, except you wanted to become an engineer or doctor. There were hardly any other careers. So the only thing I wanted to do was that I would do my PhD in chemistry, and I joined that, worked for 2 years working on my PhD, and the dream was that I will finish my PhD. After PhD, one would get easily a doctoral fellowship, postdoctoral fellowship in America in any of the research labs, because Americans were not really interested into working in research labs. So one would easily get that, and then the life is kind of sorted. So that was the feeling with which I had joined. After 2 years of working for my PhD, I realized that for my sanity, I must get out of the research labs. It was a lot of time in the research lab, 14, 16 hours a day, endlessly. And so I thought, let me take up a job, and I applied, and Doon School accepted me as a teacher. And when I came to Doon School, I realized I did not know any chemistry. And Mr. D.N. Verma, if I remember, was the chemistry teacher par excellence, because every everything in the subject had to be done experimentally. And in government schools in UP and in other places, the experimentation was not the way of life in schools. So we would have learned about how to produce hydrogen or oxygen, which chemicals to mix, how to test the gas, but would have not actually prepared. And chemistry in Doon School was quite different. Everything had to be done experimentally. So those first 5 years, I really relearned my chemistry. I still remember there was a camphor tree outside the chemistry lab, and the everybody said this is camphor tree. So I plucked the leaves of the camphor tree, and we did steam distillation and by steam distillation we produced camphor, actual camphor, which brought a lot of excitement to my students. So even in Dune School, I was experimenting and trying to do things which were new in Dune School.
And so just talk a little bit about, how the teaching as a career. What is your
Oh
thoughts
yes,
around that?
uh, I I think teaching brings a lot of fulfillment. If you do not see it in terms of money and in terms of immediate promotion and power, if you think it's not instant gratification, then long term, one does leave an impact on the students and one builds lifetime relationships, one improves the students, and this brings lot of happiness. Imagine about 3 years back, I received a call from some of the students, and they sent me a picture on the mobile, which said, this is our batch when we joined Dune School in 72, and you had just come as a young man, just joined school trying to find your feet, and we are celebrating 50 years of passing out, and would you join us? Obviously, without thinking. So imagine after 50 years, 55 years, students remember you and think fondly of you. So all that talks about the relationship one has. There is no other profession that would give you that kind of friendship, and that kind of relationship one would have, and one feels satisfied of having contributed to the growth of the children. So that is great happiness.
Thank you, sir. Janvi, you had a question?
Yes, sir, I have one.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Good
This is
morning.
Janvi Singh from Sunbeam School. My question to you is, as you have mentioned your experience, the 53-year experience in education. So, what one change you have seen that excites you and the one change that concerns you?
What excites me is that the the classrooms where there was one way talk, mostly lecture system. When I joined school teaching, the teacher would only speak. Now it is much more interactive session. Now there is so much collaboration among students. Students are given tasks and they are expected to collaborate with each other. So this collaboration is the future of education, and the learning so achieved. And it was even in my time, it was said that if you wanted to know whether you have really grasped a particular topic, best way to understand was to teach your fellow students, your peers. Once you taught the peers, then you would understand that there were many areas which you had not understood earlier. So teaching is the best way still of learning.
Right.
Thank
And
you,
the
sir.
second
And
part, and
my one more question to you is, what is the common misconception among the students about success? Like, if they have any misconception about success, that it has become a stereotype among the people, and how can they overcome it?
I think marks, success is largely in this country was defined as the marks, which was earlier we had discussed. But marks are not the only criteria for success. Success means that you've been able to understand a particular topic, you've been able to do assignments, and have been able to progress further, and that is, you have succeeded. You have been able to read a little more complexities or understand more complexities of the problems. You've been able to think of a project, and you've been able to study more on that rather than just remain confined on that and have been able to just score marks based on earlier uh, the teacher would dictate a question and also answer that this is the question and this is what I want answer. But if you have been able to think yourself, apply your mind to think about imaginatively about the answers, about what is expected, how do you think about a particular topic, I think that should be the measure of success, whether you have really progressed or not progressed.
So
Thank
just
you very much,
extending that a
sir,
little,
for your
just
thoughtful answers.
Welcome.
just extending that a little bit, sir. How should uh, uh, somebody look at school, the full school, your years in school, and how should they be thinking of success during school? Besides learning, is what one thing you just said. Actually, learning the subject. If you look at 4 5 years and 6 years in school, how should they think of success?
You see, firstly, you don't go to school only to do academics. You go to school to learn how to react in social situation, how you to deal with other children, how to help the children who may also have, I'm talking about inclusivity, who may have some challenge, who may have some disability. How do you help those children? How do you uh, deal with your communication skills, the MUNs, the uh, the debates that you have, where you have sessions? How do you do collaborate with other children to do your projects? I think collaboration, to my mind, is most important, and the compassion that you have for others who are not as fortunate as you are to be able to help them. I think all that adds to the schooling. It is not only academics, but the holistic development of your character is part of the growth in a school. So you must develop fully, not only academically, but all in all the areas that a school handles.
Manisha, I think there's some other folks who want to ask questions. If you can just let them in. So I have to ask you this. You've been to so many schools, so many boarding schools. So tell us some of the naughtiest things children do or have done.
I can't think of a naughtiest thing children do. Uh, can't. Nothing is coming to my mind at this point of the time. Let me
Okay,
think.
no
Yeah.
problem, no problem. And just then let's move to a little more serious subject. How do you see the pressure on children? Has it changed over the years or it's same? I mean, how do you see that today versus how it was, 50, 60 years ago?
50, 60 years ago, uh, the expectations were only marks. Today there are so many other skills which are required. So many, your portfolio is important. So many children are thinking of studying overseas. For there is a different kind of portfolio requirement. There is a different kind of application that is needed. Earlier there was, today there are universities, private universities like Ashoka, for one, and so many other private universities which have come up. So their application is not only based on marks. There is a different method. There is a statement of purpose which has to be written, and you have to do even social work in your time. So all that, everything you do in school, all your activities are all recorded and will get you credit, not only just marks. 50, 60 years back, you walked into a college either because of your school tie or your marks. Today things are different. Anybody can make to anywhere, depending upon what skill set he has and how he has developed or she has developed herself.
Jagdeep sir, just I want to say tell the children, please write your questions in the chat box so that we can pick it from there. Please
You
write
can't
your
unmute.
questions in the chat box.
There are a couple people who want to ask questions. You can't unmute them.
So we can pick up the best one from the chat box. So I request everyone to
No,
write
no,
it there.
just go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Just
Okay.
Myra, Nisha have their
Myra
hands up.
Jalan, you are allowed to talk. Myra Jalan.
Actually, sir, earlier we used to have the normal room, and it was easy for everybody to do this. But then we found uh, sometimes we were going over 100 and people wanted to join, were not able to join. So moved to this webinar
Okay.
mode, which is a little constrictive in terms of how people are allowed
Yes.
to talk. So it's a
It
bit of
is
a
better
challenge.
if one sees the faces and one
Yeah.
understands how much interest. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Myra, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. It's a pleasure to meet you. I
Good
had
morning.
a question. So, sir, some argue that the curriculum, especially in India, remains outdated and does not adequately prepare students for the demands of the modern workforce. Do you think this needs to be changed, and what changes should there be?
You see, I have worked in IBDP system, the International Baccalaureate, the PYP program, MYP, Cambridge, CBSE, ICSE, all the systems. The good news is that the CBSE and the ICSE, the systems, uh, they are changing. There are uh, modifications being brought in into the system. Earlier, it was based on rote learning. The NEP 2020 is also talking about it. So things are changing. The pace may not be as fast, but there is enough that is happening, and there is the change would equip you enough in today's world. There is now being talked about that multiple languages in junior school will be good. So there are multiple languages which are being brought in for children to study well, especially mother tongue is becoming important. So all those things are changing. And just like the foreign school boards, but the pace of change is slow, and also the pace of change depends upon which part of the country you belong to. If you belong to northeast, then the pace of change is slower, and it reaches its impact much more slowly than in the central India. So unfortunately, though it is unfortunate, but all this is true, but pace is changing. Yes.
So one very interesting question. Somebody is asking, what is one mistake students often make in school that we should avoid?
Uh, one mistake that students do is to try shortcuts to try and score. Lots of ideas come into the mind. There is no shortcut to learning. It has to be sincere, and you need to learn. And reading as a habit, which Good Schools Alliance is doing formidable work. This is one of the most important activity in school, to be able to learn the habit of reading, which with the screens coming in is becoming more and more difficult. So reading is what I would think that you must do, and avoid shortcuts to reading. Uh, Reading excerpt cannot be same thing as reading a book.
Thank you. That's what we try and do, and
Yes,
learning forward
fantastic
India and
work.
my good school in terms
Yes,
of getting children interested in books. So
yes.
Akansha from Sunbeam Balia says she doesn't like chemistry.
Sid-
So she finds it boring and difficult to learn. So like, what to do?
You see, uh, lots of, I don't want to criticize her teacher, but the kitchen that you have is a full-fledged chemistry lab there. There are acids there, there are bases there. There are so many experiments which can be carried out. Just to give an example, uh, I go to so many places where any function starts with lighting of lamp. And so many times the guests are trying to light the wick and the wick doesn't light or it goes off quickly. How does one help that? Simple thing that camphor, which is available all over, even in a grocery shop, if you put a small piece of camphor on the just below the wick where it has to be lighted, the camphor catches fire immediately. This simple chemistry brought in into day life. It one will never have problem of with lighting of the lamp if there is a small piece of camphor below where the wick has to be lighted. So try this. There's another one. You see, a litmus paper is used in the lab to differentiate between acid and a base. In acid, the litmus paper turns red, in base, it turns blue. But there are so many flower petals in your garden. You you have to take out those flower petals, put a little water, crush those flower petals, make an extract, and try an acid and a base and see whether it works uh, as a litmus paper or as a indicator. And acid, you have vinegar in your kitchen. For a base, you have baking soda. You can dissolve it in water and you get base, and you can test which colored flower petals work best as indicators. If this is how the interest is developed in among children, I think chemistry would become very interesting.
Thank you for that, sir. So, Reet wants to know, along with passion, what should we look for to choose a career for ourselves?
I think passion is what is most important. If your passion is in painting, is in drawing, uh, is in films, I would like to mention this that in few schools I did this experiment. I just provided a video camera to them, to the students, and they were told to write a script and make a short film. And then I had organized to get one of the directors to do a short uh, course with the children so that children are taught about the nuances of filmmaking. And what I'm saying is true, and I've tried tested in two different schools. The children did not wait for that actual course to happen. They started making their own short films, and some of those short films won an award. I still remember a student who made short films, and then he got admission in one of the top King's College in London, which is a very sought after college. And he got into King's College, and then next year, when I saw him moving around the school, I said, "Why haven't you gone to school, go to your college? Why are you still around?" He said, "Sir, you got us interested in filmmaking, and I went there to understand filmmaking, and they were teaching me film appreciation. I wasn't interested. I thought I was wasting my time, so I'm back here to do filmmaking." He became assistant to a film director and made his own feature films Today, his two feature films have been released. So, this is how you have to think about your passion. You have to think about how you can add to it and then move on. I think the success will be yours.
Thank you. Thank you for that, sir. Another question is, what is one life lesson that has guided you most?
What is?
One life lesson which has guided you most.
Life lesson is that in spite of your shortcomings, you must keep going. There's nobody who doesn't have shortcomings in one way or the other. It could be temperament, it could be your lack of patience, it could be your anger issues, it could be your irritation with things which you consider substandard. So, in spite of all these, your traits in your character which you would be able to figure them out, in spite of that you have to learn to work on them, improve yourself, and continue to work hard, continue to improve. Whatever you were yesterday, you need to be better today. So working on that, that is, I think, the greatest life lesson.
Thank you. I think you've answered this question before in some way or the other, but the question is, what skills should today's students develop to succeed in the future?
Communication, empathy, internationalism, not be restricted to the area that they come from, but need to expand their vision, travel all around, because traveling uh, gives you more life lessons than anything else. And so all this will add to your stature, your thinking, and the way you react to situations. There's nobody who doesn't have shortcomings, but continue to work on yourself and continue to improve yourself. And I think that is what is needed.
Okay, so this last question, how can stronger critical thinking skills be developed? Yash wants to know.
Ah, stronger critical thinking. Critical thinking skills are extremely important, and I think MUN is a very strong part for developing critical thinking skills, because to you see, we all understand today, everybody is reading about the meeting of Trump and Putin, what happened, what transpired. How does Trump look at the entire situation? He has his own worldview. How does Putin look at it? How does Zelensky looks at the whole situation? Or how does China looks at it? India looks at it. Now imagine, in an MUN, you have a world situation, you have a problem in the world, and you have been assigned Ghana. And you have to figure out as to what is Ghana's response to this particular situation. So, this is critical thinking skills. You'll have to research, and you will have to figure out a country's response to a particular situation. You have no idea about that country, you have no idea about how they react to different political situations or different world groups that they have in the world. So all that, how does NATO react, or what is NATO's thinking on a particular problem. So all these political compulsions, so all these critical thinking skills, I think MUN is a fantastic forum to develop this. And one MUN is not good enough. You need to develop to at least attend half a dozen MUNs before you understand what MUN is and how critical thinking skills can be developed. They are very, very important, and you have to work on them.
Right. Thank you, sir. Manisha, would you like to thank sir?
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. And it's like I was actually, you have taken me for a ride when you were saying all these things. I was thinking, yes, these are actually happening in the school. And especially when you said that the snowfall has happened, it literally, I felt that my room has also filled with snow because it has just started. I just started imagining, yes, how it will be happening when you have raised the curtain and you went out and hawkers and everything is there. So this is exactly the need of the our imagination. And when the children are imagining, the world is going to be a smaller place for them. They will be exploring more, understanding more, and yes, empathy, consistency, and dedication. These are the three keywords which I've taken from you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great fun to
Thank
be
you.
here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir. You can
Thank
please stay on. We'll move on to the next of the, but up to you. Up to you.
you. Okay.
Want to, uh,
I'll, yeah. Can I switch off my,
yeah, yeah, up to
Yeah,
you, up
yes,
to
sir.
you. Just depends on your schedule and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
So, if we have to,
yeah.
uh,
Thank you.
as Sandeep keeps saying, school mein bell bajati and you have to move on to the next piece of the action. So, uh, we are reading now door to door bookstore. I'm sorry, some of you question may not have may not have taken them up, and some of them are very, very good questions. I'm sorry, I didn't see so many of them. Uh, yeah, sorry, Janvi, that was a good question you had. You should have asked when you had the chance. Uh, okay, maybe we'll get another chance. But okay, so Manisha, maybe you want to share the book. Let's get reading. You're sending me messages which say how long will this book take, so that puts a lot of pressure on me to read the book and not do anything else. But before I start reading, I do want to say that you should take a minute to reflect on the session we've just had. Just reflect on it, and then we maybe talk a little bit about it, because I think it's very important to reflect and make sure you've got the lessons that Sir was sharing. I think it was a very, very broad range discussion, and he talked of a lot of things. So just spend 30 seconds, 1 minute, just reflect, okay? And I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Okay, just reflect on what you just learned. Okay, it would be good if you, noted these things down, because we tend to all forget. And also, if there is some thoughts that come to you from this session, write a reflection for the Joy of Learning diaries, please. But, Sir said a lot of things, but one that really resonated with me personally, and this uh, is that, you are at an age where, your identity is being created. And, he used the words of how, you have to let the determination define you. So to me, that was very, very powerful, uh, in terms of that identity is being formed, and you have to be very clear as to what is it that defines you as a person. Okay, once you've got that part done, everything else, will be much easier. It will help you decide what you want to do with, how you make decisions, where you spend your time. All those decisions will become much, much easier. And Arfa, thank you for that question, Afghanistan. That was lovely. I mean, I'd also forgotten about what life in Afghanistan was. Fun,
Thank you,
I
sir.
hadn't been there, but that was a very nice, it brought us, I mean, a different perspective. And that was a good one. I'd totally forgotten about that piece of it. And, okay, and I think somewhere hidden in what, and little extra such at some point, Sir talked about, uh, you know, satisfaction. And eventually, uh, all of us say we are chasing happiness, but I think you're also chasing satisfaction, because satisfaction gives you happiness. And he talked of the satisfaction he got from the profession that he chose. So that's something to bear in mind, that whatever uh, profession you choose, how much satisfaction uh, is it giving you? So with that, let's get to the book. Okay, so far, Sir General Saab, we're reading this book called The Door-to-Door Bookstore. It's by a German author called Carsten Hens. This is actually a book in German, which is translated into English. It's about the main protagonist is Karl Kohlhoff. He works for the city bookstore, and he delivers books to customers. And one day, uh, he's about 70 plus years old, and he's met by this girl who's between 9 and 10. And she wants to accompany him on his rounds, and she doesn't take no for an answer, and he has no option but to let her. And from that, and he didn't he used to first try and avoid her, but she was very persistent. And then it's reached a stage now in the book where he is enjoying her company. And Carl has this habit of naming his customers based on fictional characters. And in the full process, uh, Shaska points out something. Her point of view was that he's giving books to people what they're asking for, but not what is good for them. For example, there's a lady who's very depressed. She likes to read only tragedy. So, so Shaska says, you know, you shouldn't give her tragedy. She needs to get exposed to other things. And one day Shaska secretly delivers books to all these same people, and the lady who's depressed, she gives a book of jokes. Somebody who's always indoors, she gives something to do with his hand outdoors. So and I think the penny drops for Carl, because at the last, in earlier this chapter, we just read how one of the customers is Mrs. Longstocking. She's not going out of her house because of an accident that happened. And there is another customer called Hercules. Hercules, because that's what he looks like. Mrs. Longstocking, who used to be a teacher. And Hercules orders books, but he actually doesn't know how to read. So he sort of puts together a scheme by which Mrs. Longstocking will explain how to read to Hercules, supposedly to tell somebody else, but actually it's meant for Hercules. So Carl has just orchestrated that piece of it, and at the end of that, he tells her that you please meet me tomorrow at such and such point. And this is the point we are on right now. Walking to the
Okay.
cigar factory.
Very nice book, and I see that you have already reached at 114 out of 214 pages. So
Hanji.
we'll try to catch up with you and see that thing appears to be very interesting. Thank you for selection of this book, and thank you for including me.
No, pleasure. Walking to the cigar factory, he saw his city with fresh eyes. 200 meters from his destination, he stopped at the light on the busy four-lane road that marked the boundary of his world. He didn't press the button, but stood staring across the invisible border to the factory beyond. Shaska was standing there, waving at him. It was a continuous wave, as if she was reeling in a line that drew him towards her. What does that remind you of? Reeling in a line that drew him towards her, right? That's what happens when you go fishing, right? You the line, put the line, and the fish catches the bait, you reel it in. After three phases of the lights, he finally pressed the button and walked through the invisible wall to the factory. He left his small island, because a part of that island had detached itself from the mainland. Shaska was restlessly shifting her weight from one foot to the other. Are you going to tell me why we've come here? You are the key, said Scar. What does that mean? From now on, you are the reader's niece who wants to organize a surprise. Why aren't you his uncle? Because no one can refuse a cute little girl like you. A weird old man is another matter. I'm not little. Carl looked around to check if anyone was listening. He even checked for open windows in the factory before continuing. Tell them your uncle has written a book for the factory workers, but doesn't have the courage to read it to them. It's a marvelous book. Your plan is to put it on the lectern and take away that book that's there. So he has no choice but to read it aloud. That's mostly the truth. Actually, the reader is, he reads in a cigar factory. That's how it works in cigar factories when the workers are working. Uh, in Cuba, that is, people are reading because the work is monotonous. Uh, and the reader, in conversations with Shaska, he actually confesses he's written a book and then he gives it to Carl to read, and Carl finds it's a fantastic book. So this is their plan to sort of get him to read it, right, to somebody else. And so lectern, what is a lectern? Anybody? What lectern? What's a lectern? What's a lectern? You have all seen a lectern, I can tell you. You have all seen a lectern. Anybody? What's a lectern? If you don't know, Google it.
A person appointed to read lessons at certain services.
Lectern? No.
So where
No.
a speech has given by a person.
Yes, it's a table to keep things on. It's a stand. It's that stand uh, in the normally where somebody comes and talks from, right? In a conference, in an assembly. That's what it is. Your plan is to put it on the lectern and take away the book that's there. So he has no choice but to read it aloud. That's mostly the truth. Apart from the bit, that's a lie. Sometimes I wish you were younger and more easily influenced. I will do it, but in my own way. Oh, I don't know whether I will tell them that in my family we celebrate Uncle's Day when we all do something special for our uncle. That's even better. Shaska too had stepped into a whole new world today. She had never heard of places like this, where everything revolved around smoking. In the entrance, the humidors of every shape and size stood next to dark winged chairs. A humidor is a box or a room, and as the word suggests, it's to ensure the cigars are kept in a certain temperature and humidity. Instead of the glittering jewelry they might be expected to contain, they were all filled with strange, unappetizing sausages. A cigar, if you've seen one, is long and looks like a sausage. There were also glass cabinets of exquisite cigar cutters and sparkling lighters. The space smelled earthy and spicy and was sparsely lit, with light filtering in fine stripes through slatted shutters. Right? Slatted is, flat blocks of wood or any other metal. And, if you can picture a window with light coming in through slats, I think you'll understand the meaning. She could hear music playing in a foreign language. She felt Carl nudge her gently forward. Her astonishment had brought her to a standstill. A dark-haired woman appeared. When she spoke, her words appeared to contain far more R's than was actually possible. Mercedes Riemenschneider was half Cuban, half German, and the owner of a factory that was half dream, half nightmare. Many people these days were rejecting the pleasures of mild intoxication in favor of healthy living. Mercedes Riemenschneider took the opposite view. Pleasure played a leading role in her life. She also firmly believed that this should be obvious to others, and that wearing tight fitting, low cut dresses should not be the sole preservative of whipped thin women. Whipped thin means very, really thin. Half Cuban, you know, have you heard of Cuba? Akansha, Cuba. Have you heard of Cuba? Cuba is a country, right? Check up your atlas. Check up where Cuba is. What all is Cuba famous for? One thing Cuba is famous for is cigars. Okay, so she's half Cuban, right? If you have a German father and an English mother, you'd say you're half German. So that's why she was half Cuban. Shaska offered up her story, although she was unable to look the proprietor in the eye. We've talked about this earlier, right? When is it that you can't look at somebody in the eye? In this case, it was because she was lying, right? So it's not when you're lying, you have difficulty looking at somebody in the eye, right? What else? What are the other situations where you don't want to look somebody in the eye? And I remember in an earlier session, Arfa had pointed out sometimes it's because you're not confident about yourself. That's another reason why uh, don't look at somebody in the eye. Anything else? Anybody? Why you don't look at somebody in the eye? If you're on the other side and somebody is talking to you and not looking at you into your eyes, that's a signal for you to pick up. Okay. In communication, Pramod sir talked about communication. Uh, some is verbal and some is uh, uh, non-verbal. Yes, Kajal. It can also be because you know you, sometimes it's to show respect. You don't you look down and you don't look at right into the eyes of the person. Yes, that happens sometimes as well. They be afraid. Yes, that's right, Akansha. She's lying, and she may be afraid as well. Yes, yes. Yes. She was unable to look the proprietor in the eye, staring fixedly instead at the wooden floorboard. When she was finished, Mercedes Riemenschneider stroked Shaska's dark curls. What a wonderful idea! Come with me. She took a few steps, then turned. Shouldn't you be at school? We've got the first two classes free today because Mrs. Bruckner's ill. I think she's pregnant. Details Shaska knew were what made a lie credible. Mercedes Riemenschneider drew a heavy burgundy curtain to one side. Burgundy is a color. I think I picture it between orangish brown, revealing a hall with 20 tables. The women sitting at them looked up, smiling. Each of them had a wooden board on which the cigars were rolled, as well as a cardboard box full of tobacco leaves. There were chopping knives, small scissors, ruby trays for the finished cigars, and a number of other tools. But the most important of all was their hands. They had to be soft and elastic, and the cigar rollers had to have dexterity and a good eye. Cigars have to be rolled with exactly the right firmness to enable the smoke to find its way through the leaves. So let's just stop here for a second, right? So dexterity, yes, good question. Dexterity is good. If you don't understand, please ask. And sometimes I may or may not see your chat, so then you'll have to put up your hand and ask. Okay. So dexterity. Somebody want to explain the dexterity? What is dexterity? Anybody? Somebody want to explain to Akansha what is dexterity? Okay, so this is like a dictionary, what Manisha ma'am has taken you to, right? So it's you're basically skillful, right? I'm not able to read this, so but basically means skillful. Okay, so if you one of the yes, Karma, absolutely. So with Shikha ma'am, we talked about what happens, at the age that several of you are, right? Growing up, puberty, and your prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain which organizes things and is the rational part of the brain is you know is growing, and your your emotional side is also growing. And one of the things that happens is you want to do things your way, right? And Chaska is also in that similar age. And the interesting thing is that her idea was a better idea than, well, it's a reasonable idea. And actually, Carl also thought of it as a better idea. So, that's the power of asking others, right? And that's the power of a diversified team. And that's the power of collaboration when you know, bounce off ideas with other people, right? There is a mention by when they're talking of this lady Mercedes Schneider, that her philosophy in life was pleasure. What are the exact words? Pleasure played a leading role in her life. So uh, so that's one way that people choose to live, right? Many people believe that just live for today, right? But typical or you know, the Indian way of thinking about this is very different from this, right? So that's one way that people think about it versus what normally comes to us having grown up in this country. Okay, so we reached the point where we're talking of cigars uh, from her being made with hands. So do you think there are factories which are making cigars? Do you think this has got automated or no? What do you think? Do you think cigar making could be automated or no? Right? Can you think of some other areas, industries, work which was done by hand earlier and is now automated? Right? When I was growing up, we always went to a tailor to get a shirt stitched or a pant made. Now, most of the times, you will just go and buy it off the shelf. It's ready made, right? And it's also made by a machine. What else can you think of which is automate, which can be, which is handmade versus automated? Anybody? And what are the pros and cons? Automation versus handmade. सही है हाथ से क्या बेहतर बनता है और मशीन से क्या बेहतर बनता है?
Handmade goods have authenticity, meanwhile, automated goods just finish faster.
Finish faster and are standard, right? I mean, there'll be a standard design. That's why in a machine you'd be able to you'll churn out the same thing day in day out, right? So it's a standardized product. So handmade is normally can be especially made for people. And there's certain there is so many in handicrafts in even a thing like pottery, I would say handmade embroidery. Yes, Kajal, a great example. And I was in the fashion business, and we used to have handmade we used to have handmade embroidery on our product. And there were people down the road which used to use machines for embroidery. But the difference was just that. And for most people, you'll be able to pick it up when it's handmade versus machine made, because of just the chances are when it's handmade, you'll see some imperfection somewhere, which is and I'm saying it in a good way. Yeah, and many people think handmade are better than traditional. Yes, consume more energy and time. Yes, that's why they're more expensive. Absolutely, Akansha. And that's why the automation has been put in to customize things and, make sure that it's you productivity, lower cost. And we read in one of our earlier books, right, when Henry Ford actually brought about this automation in making cars, what it did, uh, you know, to to lives actually, how it allowed people to move because he'd automated cars and brought in assembly line, and what it did to the cost of cars and what it did to people's lives, because suddenly because of the cars and the road, people are able to move around, you got more exposure. So yeah, I mean, automation has its values, and we talk of AI these days. So based on time, uh, Nisha ma'am, I think I need to stop, right?
Pardon, sir, I didn't get that.
I think it's time. I don't want to eat into your time. So let
Not a
me
problem,
stop
sir.
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just put the bookmark. Just give me a minute.
Yes, Arfa, it looks neat, but somehow, I mean, at least in the fashion business, you were doing things exclusively. So those were patterns that, you wouldn't, people wouldn't see otherwise. And that was the reason that business is still surviving. So yeah, uh, the embroidered thing will look neat, but, using your hands per se is a very powerful thing. So that it does something for your brain for sure. So if for nothing else, for using your hand, it's a good plan to do hand embroidery. So, sir, General Saab, Manisha is reading the Hindi version of this book by Dr. Anupam Sibal. uh, is your child ready to face the world? So what we try and do is, अभी तक आपने अंग्रेजी सुनी थी, अब हम थोड़ा फ्लिप करेंगे और हिंदी में बात करेंगे.
Oh,
मतलब मेरी अनफॉर्चुनेटली अंग्रेजी फर्स्ट लैंग्वेज बन गई है, बट आई शुड ऑल्सो बी ट्राइंग टू एक्सप्लेन सर्टन थिंग्स इन हिंदी, बट थोड़ा आज हुआ नहीं. We could have also talked to Pramod sir in Hindi a lot, but हुआ नहीं unfortunately.
से तो बात कर लो हिंदी में.
हाँ हाँ जी, हाँ जी, अब तो हिंदी में. अब तो
Actually,
मनीषा
it's
मैम
become a
हिंदी.
default language,
हाँ जी, हाँ जी, अनफॉर्चुनेटली वैसे हो गया, बट अब हिंदी में बात करें.
जी, okay. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Am I
जय
audible
हिंद,
to people?
नमस्कार मैम.
Jai Hind and Namaskar to all of you. Actually, Suprabhat to everyone. So, just type, punch in your answers, your takeaways just in 2 words. Sentences नहीं चाहिए. 2 शब्दों में हमने प्रमोद सर से क्या सीखा और जुगजीत सर की बुक डोर टू डोर बुक स्टोर से हमें क्या समझ में आया? कोई सा भी 2 शब्द आपकी चॉइस के हिसाब से पंच करिए चैट बॉक्स में। आई एम वेटिंग, इंतजार है आप सबका। एक्सप्लोरिंग, हैंडमेड इज बेटर देन ऑटोमेटेड। Success does not get by marks. Capability, communication, passion, dedication. Discipline. Wonderful. Now it has started coming. Skills. बहुत बढ़िया. Empathy. एक जो चीज मैंने सर से सीखी, जुगजीत सर से और प्रमोद सर से आज, वो है डेडिकेशन एंड कंसिस्टेंसी। सब कुछ हमारे पास है बट हम डेडिकेटेड नहीं है काम के लिए और रोज हम उस काम को नहीं कर रहे, कंसिस्टेंट नहीं है उस काम के लिए। आज किया कल नहीं किया, मन है आज कल मन नहीं है, तो इससे क्या होता है, हमारा सारा ट्रैक खराब हो जाता है। पिछले सारे काम जो हमने किए वो कहीं ना कहीं आके स्टैंड स्टिल हो जाते, कहीं ना कहीं आके रुक जाते। सो वन थिंग इज वेरी मच इम्पोर्टेंट, दैट इज कंसिस्टेंसी एंड डेडिकेशन। जैसे सर ने भी हमें बोला है, कंसिस्टेंसी बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है। मैं आपसे जानना चाहूँ, बहुत से बच्चों ने हमारे इधर आंसर भी किया है और क्वेश्चंस भी पूछे हैं कि हमें क्लास में कोई चिढ़ाता है, कोई कुछ बात करता है, तो हमें किस तरीके से आगे बढ़ना चाहिए और किस तरीके से करना चाहिए। आई वुड जस्ट लाइक टू से अवॉइड करो। और एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज जो हम आजकल सबको याद है बट समहाउ वो मैनेज नहीं हो पा रही है, दैट इज ग्रैटिट्यूड। याद सबको है कि कृतज्ञता होनी चाहिए और हम को दूसरों को थैंक्स बोलना है, एम्पैथी दिखाना है, सब कुछ करना है, बट समहाउ वो हो नहीं पा रहा है। एंड इसी नहीं होने के कारण जो छोटी छोटी क्लासरूम की प्रॉब्लम है वो होती है। सो आई वुड जस्ट टेक द वर्ड ग्रैटिट्यूड एज एन एक्रोनिम। जी स्टैंड्स फॉर ग्रोथ। ग्रोथ आपका जरूरी नहीं है शारीरिक ग्रोथ हो, वो मानसिक ग्रोथ होता है, आपस में बिहेवियर का ग्रोथ होता है, पढ़ाई में भी आपकी ग्रोथ हो सकती है, बट यस एवरीथिंग इज इम्पोर्टेंट। तो शरीर, दिल, दिमाग और आपका सोल, सब चीज का ग्रोथ होना चाहिए। रिस्पेक्ट, रिस्पेक्ट सिर्फ मुंह से नहीं होता है, रिस्पेक्ट हमारी भावना जो है दिल से आती है। तो दिल से रिस्पेक्ट करिए, अप्रिशिएट सेम ऑर्डर में दिल से करिए। रोज किसी न किसी को एक शब्द अच्छा बोल दीजिए। आपने आज कपड़े अच्छे पहने, मैम आपकी स्माइल बहुत अच्छी है। जो आपको बच्चा परेशान करता है उसके पास जाके अपना टिफिन आप शेयर करिए, देखिए आपकी सारी परेशानी खत्म हो जाएगी। थैंकफुलनेस, से थैंक यू फॉर एवरीथिंग। बिकॉज स्कूल में भी हमें गोल्डन वर्ड्स सिखाए जाते हैं, तो वो गोल्डन वर्ड्स को जितना आप इस्तेमाल करेंगे, जितना बोलेंगे, दैट बी ऑल गुड फॉर यू। तो गोल्डन वर्ड्स प्लीज ज्यादा से ज्यादा इस्तेमाल करिए। इंस्पिरेशन, 2 से 3 शब्द, एक फ्रेज या किसी की भी फोटो जो आपको इंस्पायर करता है उसको लिखिए और क्यों वो आपको इंस्पायर करता है उसके बारे में सोचिए और आगे लाइफ को बढ़ाइए। थॉटफुलनेस, थॉटफुलनेस इज अगेन वेरी मच इंपॉर्टेंट एंड दैट विल हैपन ओनली व्हेन यू विल अंडरस्टैंड सर्टेन थिंग्स। क्या हो रहा है, क्यों हो रहा है, किस लिए हो रहा है, इससे हमें क्या अच्छा मिलेगा, इससे क्या परेशानी होगी, दोनों साइड ऑफ द वॉल को लीजिए और समझिए। देन दी डेडिकेशन, जो अभी तक हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं, बिना डेडिकेशन एंड कंसिस्टेंसी के लाइफ में कुछ चीजें स्टैंड स्टिल हो जाती है। एम्पैथी, सो अबव ऑल एम्पैथी इज आल्सो इम्पोर्टेंट। I'll just open my book. सबको मेरी स्क्रीन दिख रही है? सो इज माई स्क्रीन विजिबल?
Yes.
सो कृतज्ञता, इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं इंग्लिश में? अभी मेरे स्क्रीन में क्या था, कौन सा वर्ड था?
Gratitude.
यस, सो कृतज्ञता इन इंग्लिश इट इज ग्रैटिट्यूड। कृतज्ञता जीवन की पूर्णता के सारे प्रतिबंध खोल देती है। ये हमारे पास जो कुछ भी है उसे पर्याप्त में और उससे भी कहीं ज्यादा में बदल देती है। यह अस्वीकृति को स्वीकृति में, अव्यवस्था को व्यवस्था में और अस्पष्टता को स्पष्टता में बदल देती है। ये एक साधारण से भोजन को भोज में, एक मकान को घर में और एक अजनबी को मित्र में बदल देती है। मेलोडिबिलिटी, तो हमें यह बताया गया है कि अगर हम थैंकफुल है, अगर हम ग्रैटिट्यूड हम किसी को अपना दिखा रहे हैं, किसी को दे रहे हैं, तो कोई भी लाइफ की छोटा सा इंसिडेंट पार्टी बन जाती है, आपका छोटा सा गेट टुगेदर पिकनिक हो जाता है, और इस तरीके से छोटी छोटी चीजें आपकी लाइफ में बहुत बड़ा चेंज लेके आती है। आप एक अच्छा ह्यूमन तभी बन सकते हैं जब आपके अंदर ग्रैटिट्यूड की फीलिंग्स आए। ये 2012 की बात है, जब देवांग और मैं ग्रैंड स्लैम का फाइनल देख रहे थे। फिर एक बार रॉजर फेडरर विजयी हुए थे। पिताजी, रॉजर फेडरर कितने अद्भुत है ना? 17 ग्रैंड स्लैम सिंगल टाइटल्स, 7 विंबलडन टाइटल्स, 5 यूएस ओपन टाइटल्स और 302 हफ्तों से पहले नंबर पर। कितना शानदार रिकॉर्ड है। तुम्हें उनके इतने सारे रिकॉर्ड्स कैसे याद है? फेडरर मेरा हीरो है। मुझे तो लगता है कि आज तक इस खेल को खेलने वाले खिलाड़ियों में वह सर्वश्रेष्ठ है। वह एक प्रसिद्ध व्यक्ति है। उनके रिकॉर्ड्स और उनके गुण निश्चय ही प्रशंसनीय है। मेहनत, केंद्रित ध्यान, अनुशासन, सादगी, सकारात्मक दृष्टिकोण और अप्रतिम खिलाड़ी प्रतिभा। लेकर इन सबसे भी अधिक एक बात है जो मेरे लिए सर्वोपरि है। रॉजर कृतज्ञता की शक्ति को समझते हैं। कृतज्ञता क्यों पिताजी? एक बार ऑस्ट्रेलियन ओपन में फेडरर ने कहा था कि इस समय पुरुषों के आहत होने की समस्याओं के साथ मैं भाग्यशाली हूं, अभी भी खड़ा हुआ। अपनी थकावट भरी जिंदगी और इतने सारे टूर्नामेंट्स खेलने के दबाव के चलते टेनिस के खिलाड़ी गंभीर चोट लगने के जोखिम में रहते हैं। लंबे सत्र इलाज प्रतियोगी टेनिस में वापसी को मुश्किल बना सकता है और अनेक प्रतिभाशाली करियर समय से पूर्व आकाश में खत्म हो गए। फेडरर को इस बात का एहसास था। सौभाग्य से उन्हें ज्यादा चोटें नहीं लगी हैं और इसके लिए वह कृतज्ञ है। हम सब बहुत सी बातों का महत्व नहीं समझते। जब हम बीमार पड़ते हैं तभी हमें अच्छी सेहत के वरदान का महत्व समझ में आता है। जैसा कि अधिकतर बातों के विषय में सत्य है, हमें चीजों का असली मूल्य उन्हें खो देने के बाद ही पता चलता है। हमारे बच्चे भी बहुत सी चीजों के महत्व को नहीं समझते। भोजन, कपड़े, आरामदायक बिस्तर और खिलौने, पढ़ने के लिए स्कूल, छुट्टियां और मस्ती करने के लिए जन्मदिन की पार्टियां, ये सब तो वे मान लेते हैं कि होते ही हैं। बहुत कम ऐसा होता है कि वह बच्चा जिसे इतनी सारी चीजों के लिए कृतज्ञ होना चाहिए, ये महसूस करता है कि वह कितना भाग्यशाली है कि उनके पास वह सब कुछ है जिसका दुनिया भर के करोड़ों बच्चे सपना भर ही देख पाते हैं। वैसे हम बच्चों को दोष नहीं दे सकते क्योंकि हमने बच्चों को कृतज्ञता की शक्ति को समझने के बारे में सिखाया ही नहीं है। वह हमें कृतज्ञता की शक्ति की प्रशंसा करते हुए देखते ही नहीं है। एक और महान टेनिस का खिलाड़ी था जिसने कृतज्ञता की शक्ति को पहचाना। कौन था वो? देवांग ने पूछा। आर्थर एस। एस का जन्म रिचमंड वर्जीनिया में हुआ था। उनकी मां की गर्भावस्था में कुछ कठिनाई के कारण 27 साल की उम्र में ही मृत्यु हो गई थी। उनका और उनके भाई का पालन पोषण उनके पिता ने किया, जो छोटे मोटे काम करके गुजारा करते थे। ऐश ने 7 साल की उम्र में टेनिस खेलना शुरू कर दिया था। उनकी प्रतिभा जल्दी ही विदित हो गई और उनके पिता ने उनके लिए एक कोच की व्यवस्था कर दी। एस टेनिस कोर्ट में उतने ही श्रेष्ठ थे जितना कि कक्षा में। उन्होंने अपनी कक्षा में प्रथम आकर यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ कैलिफोर्निया लॉस एंजलिस से पूर्ण छात्रवृत्ति प्राप्त की। जब उन्होंने बिजनेस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में स्नातक किया तो एस अपने पिता के परिवार की तरफ से कॉलेज की पढ़ाई पूरी करने वाले व्यक्ति बने। 1968 में उन्होंने पहला यूएस ओपन जीता। वह यूएस ओपन को जीतने वाले अकेले अफ्रीकी अमेरिकी हैं। 2 साल बाद उन्होंने ऑस्ट्रेलियन ओपन जीता और 1975 में विंबलडन। उन्होंने जिमी कॉर्नर्स को विंबलडन में आधुनिक टेनिस के इतिहास की सबसे अविश्वसनीय और असंभव कहलाने वाली जीत से हराया। कई विशेषज्ञ आज भी इसे टूर्नामेंट के इतिहास की सर्वश्रेष्ठ जीत मानते हैं। घर लौटने पर राष्ट्रीय फोर्ड ने एस का व्हाइट हाउस में स्वागत किया। एसोसिएशन ऑफ टेनिस प्रोफेशनल को बनाने का श्रेय उन्हीं को जाता है और बाद में वह उसके अध्यक्ष भी बने। एस रंगभेद का मुक्त कंठ से विरोध करते थे और वॉशिंगटन में एक रंगभेद के विरुद्ध विद्रोह में उन्हें गिरफ्तार भी किया गया था। उन्हें दक्षिण अफ्रीका का वीजा देने से इनकार कर दिया गया और इसलिए वह साउथ अफ्रीकन ओपन चैंपियनशिप में नहीं खेल पाए। वह करीब 1.5 दशक तक रंगभेद के विरुद्ध विद्रोह जताते रहे। जब नेल्सन मंडेला को 27 साल के बाद जेल से रिहा किया गया और उनसे पूछा गया कि वह किससे मिलना चाहेंगे तो उन्होंने कहा आर्थर एस कैसा रहेगा। तो यहाँ पे मैं ये जानना चाहूंगी कि ऐसा कभी हुआ है कि आपने किसी को ग्रैटिट्यूड या किसी को थैंक यू बोला है बट उसने उसको गलत समझ लिया है? यू कैन यूज द चैट बॉक्स टू राइट। यस मैम। तो कितनी बार ऐसा होता है? ज्यादातर होता है ऐसा कि आप दिल से किसी को थैंक यू बोलते हैं और वो उसको गलत समझता है? यस। तो आपने कभी इसके बारे में सोचा है कि ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है? ओके, तो इसके बारे में हम थोड़ी सी 5 मिनट के बाद डिस्कस करेंगे कि ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है। 36 साल की उम्र में एस को दिल का दौरा पड़ा। बाद में उसी साल उनका बाईपास ऑपरेशन हुआ। 4 साल बाद उनका क्वाड्रुपल बाईपास ऑपरेशन हुआ। उनकी दूसरी बाईपास सर्जरी के बाद रक्त चढ़ाने की प्रक्रिया के दौरान उन्हें एचआईवी संक्रमण हो गया। उन दिनों रक्त की एचआईवी जांच नहीं की जाती थी। 1992 में उन्होंने सबको बताया कि उन्हें एड्स हो गया है। उनके परिवार, मित्रों और सहकर्मियों की तो मानो दुनिया ही उजड़ गई। दुनिया भर में उन्हें उनके चाहने वालों के पत्र मिले। एक चाहने वाले ने पूछा, भगवान ने इतनी बुरी बीमारी के लिए आपको ही क्यों चुना? इस पर एस ने जवाब दिया, दुनिया भर में 50 मिलियन बच्चे टेनिस खेलना शुरू करते हैं। 5 मिलियन टेनिस खेलना सीखते हैं। 5 लाख प्रोफेशनल टेनिस सीख पाते हैं। 50,000 सर्किट तक पहुंच पाते हैं। 5,000 ग्रैंड स्लैम तक पहुंच जाते हैं। 50 विंबलडन तक, 4 सेमीफाइनल तक और 2 फाइनल तक। जब मुझे कप मिला था तब मैंने भगवान से ये नहीं पूछा कि मैं ही क्यों, और आज जब मैं पीड़ा में हूं मुझे भगवान से नहीं पूछना चाहिए कि मैं ही क्यों। तो यहाँ पे ये बताया गया है कि किस तरीके से क्यूमुलेटिव वैल्यू के हिसाब से आपको चूज किया जाता है। यू आर द चोजन वन। तो जब आप किसी को ग्रैटिट्यूड बोलते हो, थैंकफुल बोलते हो, तो ये क्यों वाला क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछना चाहिए। मैंने भी थोड़ी देर पहले पूछा था आपसे कि क्या कभी ऐसा हुआ है कि आपने किसी को थैंक्स बोला और लोगों ने उसका जवाब नहीं दिया या आपकी बातों को नहीं समझा? तो इसके पीछे रीजन भी यही है। कोई क्या सोच रहा है, किस तरीके से बोल रहा है, क्यों बोल रहा है, उसके बारे में सोच के हम बुरा मानने की जगह अगर हम ये सोचे कि हम अपना कर्म कर रहे हैं और कर्म के लिए भगवान ने हमें चूज किया है, तो हम बहुत ज्यादा हैप्पी रहेंगे और हमारी प्रॉब्लम काफी हद तक सॉल्व हो जाएगी। पूरे इतिहास में विचारक, दार्शनिक, वैज्ञानिक, राजनीतिज्ञ और धार्मिक गुरुओं ने लोगों से कृतज्ञता की शक्ति को समझने के लिए जोर दिया है। जब देवांग 8 महीने का था, वह बहुत गंभीर रूप से बीमार पड़ गया। वह बहुत ज्यादा रोने लगा और उसे रक्तस्राव होने लगा। इंटरसेप्शन की एक जांच की गई। इंटरसेप्शन में आंतों के एक भाग को टेलीस्कोप की मदद से और गहराई से देखा जाता है, जिससे और भी गंभीर लक्षण उभर कर आते हैं। इंटरसेप्शन अपने आप ही परिणाम दिखा सकता है, जैसा कि अक्सर होता है। इसके लिए मेडिकल या सर्जिकल थेरेपी की आवश्यकता पड़ती है। जब हमें अस्पताल में भर्ती किया गया, तब मैं बाल रोग के क्षेत्र में प्रशिक्षण ले ही रहा था और विभिन्न विकल्पों के बारे में मेरा ज्ञान बहुत सीमित था। नंदिनी और मैं बस इतना ही कर सकते थे कि उसके जल्दी ठीक होने के लिए प्रार्थना करें और सब कुछ उस टीम के ऊपर छोड़ दें जो उसका इलाज कर रही थी। हमें उस टीम पर पूरी आस्था थी और सौभाग्य से इंटरसेप्शन ने खुद ही परिणाम दिखाए। एक पिता के रूप में इस पूरे अनुभव ने मुझे यह एहसास दिलाया कि माता पिता के लिए अपने बच्चों को तड़पते हुए देखना कितना कठिन है। एक बाल रोग प्रशिक्षु के रूप में मैंने ये कभी नहीं सोचा था कि माता पिता उपचार करते समय उपचार करने वाली टीम द्वारा कहे गए हर शब्द पर कितना विश्वास करते हैं। माता पिता के रूप में हमने देवांग और नर्सों के बीच की हर बातचीत को ध्यान से देखा। हर वक्त प्रशिक्षण और कैनुला का बदलना हमारे लिए बहुत पीड़ादायी था। अस्पताल में बिताई उन दिनों ने बाल रोग चिकित्सक के रूप में मेरी जिम्मेदारी के प्रति मेरा दृष्टिकोण ही बदल दिया। हम हमारे बच्चों को अच्छे स्वास्थ्य में लौटाने के लिए टीम के बहुत आभारी थे। मैं एक माता पिता के नजरिए से उपचार को समझ पाने के लिए बहुत आभारी था। इस अनुभव ने मुझे एक डॉक्टर के रूप में बहुत बदल दिया था। उसके बाद से मैं उस हर मरीज को धन्यवाद देने लगा जिसका मैं उपचार करता था। मेरे प्रशिक्षु अक्सर मुझसे पूछते, "आ- आप माता पिता को धन्यवाद क्यों देते हैं?" असल में तो उन्हें आपको धन्यवाद कहना चाहिए। मैंने उन्हें समझाने की कोशिश करता हूँ। माता पिता मेरे भरोसे अपनी सबसे कीमती चीज छोड़कर जाते हैं, उनका बच्चा। मैं कम से कम उन्हें धन्यवाद तो कह ही सकता हूँ। जब तुम खुद माता पिता बन जाओगे, तब इस बात को और अच्छी तरह समझ पाओगे। मैं भी इस तथ्य को तब तक नहीं समझ पाया था जब हमारा बेटा अस्पताल में भर्ती नहीं हुआ था। तो यहाँ पे हम ये समझ रहे हैं कि किस तरीके से आप अगर किसी को थैंक यू बोलते हो तो वो आपके दिल से निकली हुई आवाज होनी चाहिए। डॉक्टर्स भी थैंक यू इसलिए बोलते हैं क्योंकि वो ये बात समझ पा रहे हैं कि जो भी मेंबर उनके पास आया है फैमिली का उनसे इलाज कराने के लिए, उसकी लाइफ उनके एक तरीके से हाथों में। सी डॉक्टर्स को हम भगवान का दर्जा भी दे रहे हैं। तो यहाँ पे हमें ये समझना चाहिए कि अगर कोई भी आपकी हेल्प करे या कोई भी किसी को आपके पास लेके रेफर करता है तो वो बहुत ज्यादा मैजिकल मोमेंट होता है। यहाँ पे मैजिक ये है कि वो आपके ऊपर ट्रस्ट कर रहा है। तो ट्रस्ट से बड़ा मैजिक तो लाइफ में हो ही नहीं सकता है। तो उस मैजिक को कंटिन्यू करने के लिए एंड पूरे यूनिवर्स में भेजने के लिए एक ही तरीका है, एंड वो है ग्रेटिट्यूड। रॉन्डा बर्न द मैजिक में कहती है कि कृतज्ञता की आदत में जादू है और यह कई जीवनों को बदल सकती है। वह एक जादुई बदलाव के लिए 28 दिन की नियमावली का वर्णन करती है। 3 साल पहले मैं हैदराबाद में सेकेंड इंटरनेशनल कांग्रेस ऑन पेशेंट सेफ्टी की आयोजक टीम का हिस्सा था। हमने निर्णय लिया कि कॉन्फ्रेंस के अंतिम सत्र में हम एक लकी ड्रॉ का आयोजन करेंगे, जिसमें चुने हुए 5 प्रतिनिधियों को मजेदार उपहार मिलेंगे। कॉन्फ्रेंस के एक दिन पहले हम इनाम के बारे में निर्णय लेने के लिए मिले। एक प्रशिक्षु जिसने एक प्रतिनिधि के रूप में पंजीकरण कराया था, अंतिम 2 सत्रों में कुछ कार्यों में मदद करने के लिए आगे आई। जब उसे यह पता चला कि एक पुरस्कार ब्लैकबेरी भी था, तो वो मेरे पास आई और बोली, काश मैं ब्लैकबेरी जीत पाती। उस समय मैंने हाल ही में द मैजिक पढ़ी थी और मैंने निश्चय किया कि रॉन्ड्रा की कही बात को मैं उससे कहूंगा। मैंने उस किशोरी से कहा था, बस ये कहती रहो कि जीते हुए ब्लैकबेरी के लिए धन्यवाद। इससे मुझे उसे जीतने में कैसे मदद मिलेगी? उसने पूछा। मैंने विज्ञान में पढ़ा है, मैं ये कैसे मान लूं कि ये काम करेगा? उसने आगे कहा। मैंने उससे कहा कि धन्यवाद कहने से उसका कोई नुकसान नहीं होगा। आखिरी सत्र शाम 4 बजे से 5 बजे के बीच में था और 4:50 पर उठकर आई मेरे पास और बोली, कृपया मेरे अच्छे भाग्य की कामना कीजिए, मुझे वो ब्लैकबेरी चाहिए। मैंने असंख्य बार धन्यवाद कह दिया है। लकी ड्रॉ शुरू हुआ और एक के बाद एक विजेताओं के नाम घोषित किए गए। आखिरी विजेता वह महिला थी। जब उसने वह फोन ग्रहण किया तो वह चिल्लाकर बोली, धन्यवाद कहना काम कर गया। रॉन्ड्रा बर्न के अनुसार ये हर बार काम करता है। डॉक्टर्स के रूप में हमें केवल आंखों पर विश्वास करने का प्रशिक्षण दिया जाता है और शुरू में मुझे इच्छित वस्तु के लिए पहले से ही धन्यवाद देना और ऐसा दिखाना जैसे कि वह मुझे मिल गई हो, इस बात को समझना बहुत कठिन लगा। लेकिन इसे व्यवहार रूप में देखने के बाद मैंने एक बार पहले से ही कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करने का प्रयास किया। वह काम कर गया। एक बार नहीं, बल्कि हर बार। मैंने सवाल पूछना बंद कर दिया और विश्वास करना शुरू कर दिया। इन सालों में मैंने देवांग के साथ कृतज्ञता की शक्ति के उदाहरण साझे किए हैं। धीरे धीरे वह भी कृतज्ञता के जादू में विश्वास करने लगा है। हमें कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करना अपने और अपने बच्चों के रोज के जीवन का हिस्सा बनाना चाहिए। हमें अपने को बच्चों को प्रोत्साहित करना चाहिए कि जिस चीजों को सहज ही ले लेते हैं उनके लिए वे थोड़ा और अधिक धन्यवाद कहें। जब वे दिन में अनेक बार धन्यवाद कहेंगे तो कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करना उनके लिए आसान हो जाएगा। जब हमारे बच्चे शिकायत करें तो हमें उन्हें याद दिलाना चाहिए कि आर्थर एस ने क्या कहा था। मुझे भगवान से नहीं पूछना चाहिए कि मैं ही क्यों। चलो उठे और कृतज्ञ बने, क्योंकि अगर हमने बहुत ज्यादा नहीं भी सीखा तो कम से कम थोड़ा तो सीखा ही है। और अगर हमने थोड़ा नहीं भी सीखा तो कम से कम बीमार तो नहीं पड़े। और अगर बीमार भी पड़े तो कम से कम मरे तो नहीं। इसीलिए हमें कृतज्ञ होना चाहिए। गौतम बुद्ध। सो क्या सीखा हमने स्टोरी से? क्या पंच कर सकते हैं अपने आंसर्स? कुछ सीखा आपने स्टोरी से? Yes, we should always be grateful for what we have. थैंक यू बोलना एक बहुत ही अच्छी चीज है। ग्रेट अगर हम ग्रेटफुल हैं, लोगों को बताना बहुत ही जरूरी है, क्योंकि हो सकता है कि आप जिसको थैंक यू बोलना चाह रहे हैं, जिसको अप्रिशिएट करना चाह रहे हैं, हो सकता है कि वो कुछ दिनों के बाद आपसे नहीं मिले, उनका ट्रांसफर हो जाए या वो किसी और स्कूल में एडमिशन ले ले। तो अगर आप अच्छे दिल से पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड के साथ सबको थैंकफुल बोलते हैं, सो नेचुरली मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग भी कम हो जाती है और लाइफ को आपको एक नए डायमेंशन में लेके जाती है। So I'll just read out a couple of answers. Always be happy by what you have, certainly. Because बहुत सारे बच्चे हैं जो हमें लगता है कि हमारे पास नहीं है, बट हम काफी लोगों से बहुत ही अच्छे हैं। इंस्टेड ऑफ थिंकिंग ऊपर वर्टिकल में कि ऊपर में कौन है, किस बच्चे के पास कौन सी गाड़ी है, किस बच्चे के पास कौन सा सामान है जो आपके पास नहीं है, उसकी जगह हम अपने नीचे वालों को देखें कि उनके पास क्या है और हम उनसे कितने लकी है। सो ऊपर अगर हमको जाना है तो हम अपनी मेहनत से जाएं, न कि परेशान होकर के। एंड दिस इज व्हाट एग्जैक्टली सर वाज सेइंग इन द मॉर्निंग कि यस, हार्ड वर्क इज द की। बट अगर आपके पास स्किल है तो हार्ड वर्क थोड़ा कम हो जाएगा। तो अपने आप को ऑर्गेनाइज करिए, अपने स्किल्स को एनहांस करिए, कंसिस्टेंसी रखिए और डेडिकेटेड रहिए उसके लिए। सो डू यू विश टू आस्क समथिंग? क्या किसी के पास कोई प्रश्न है मेरे लिए? यू मे रेज योर हैंड।
तो मैम थोड़े समय पहले आपने लोगों से पूछा था कि आपने थैंक यू बोला और उसका रिएक्शन ठीक नहीं आया, कुछ लोगों ने बोला हाँ। तो उसके बारे में थोड़ा आप देख सकते हैं, नॉर्मली किस वजह से हो सकता है, बिकॉज
इसके पीछे दो
नॉर्मली
चीजें
होना
हो
नहीं
सकती।
चाहिए, राइट?
इसके पीछे दो कारण हो सकते हैं। हो सकता है कि आपने जिस समय थैंक यू बोला उस समय वो बच्चा कुछ और, सर यहाँ पे आई एम जस्ट नीलिंग माय नीज डाउन फॉर द लेवल ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स। दो चीजें में एक चीज हो सकती है, जिस समय आपने बोला हो सकता है वो कुछ और सोच रहा हो, या फिर आपने बोलने का टाइम फ्रेम उस टाइम फ्रेम से चेंज हो गया हो। तो जो आपका कनेक्शन था, आपस की कनेक्टिविटी थी बच्चों की, वो चेंज हो गई होगी उस समय। तो इसलिए, और या तो वो ये सोच रहा होगा कि आपको और ज्यादा कुछ बोलना चाहिए था, आपने कम बोला, बट आपने अपने हिसाब से पहल करी, दैट इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट। आपने आगे बढ़ के थैंक यू बोला, आपने आगे आके ग्रेटिट्यूड, कृतज्ञता दिखाई, वो ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है। दूसरों का रिएक्शन लेने के लिए उसके बारे में परेशान होने की जगह हमें अपनी तरफ से पहल करना चाहिए। यस मीनाक्षी मैम, यू रेज्ड योर हैंड, ओवर टू यू। मीनाक्षी मैम, yes ma'am.
See, yeah, this thing about gratefulness, see, quite a lot of us say thank you because we've been taught to say so, right? And we think we are very grateful, but we don't really understand the true meaning of gratefulness. I think I've mentioned this earlier as well. Because what happens is we think we are very grateful when we keep saying thank you, and the other person also understands that it's out of habit. Okay, so probably they don't give it that much of importance. Now, true gratefulness is something that we need to feel as well.
This is what exactly I was saying that time, कि दिल से बोलिए
Yeah,
थैंक यू जैसे
दिल
एक
से
शब्द के
बोलना,
हिसाब से नहीं बोलिए।
और उसका एक बहुत बड़ा एक्सरसाइज होता है जो मैंने प्रैक्टिस किया था, जिसके बाद मुझे ट्रू ग्रेटफुलनेस था, जिसको जो of course was Rhonda Byrne's way of telling us that you sit with a paper and pen and write down all the things that you have received right from the day you were born till today. Everything, whether it is your tiffin, whether it was a hug, whether it was a pencil or a rubber, the smallest and smallest of things. When you try the sunshine, the moonshine, I mean, you can, the list is endless. She actually gives you a list. And when
Jane, ma'am.
Did we?
hello,
Yes ma'am.
you could not hear all the things that I said. Sorry
नहीं
about
मैम,
that.
सुना
You
तो
cut
Chalo,
पूरा।
off मतलब पिछले 5 सेकंड।
अच्छा, तो वही जो मैं बता रही थी कि वो बेसिकली जब तक हम ये एक्सरसाइज करते हैं, हमें एक्चुअली नहीं समझ में आता है कि हम क्या है,
ट्रू।
हमें actually नहीं समझ में आता है कि हमें मिला क्या है। जब आप ये एक्सरसाइज करते हैं तो यू कैन इमेजिन, आई एम टॉकिंग सेज maybe 10 years back that I had done this exercise, but then I was a fully grown up person, and I had tears streaming down my face for a very long time. And then you understand what gratefulness is all about, and then you don't feel much about कि ये सामान मैं खरीद पाई या नहीं खरीद पाई, and you understand how much of choice God has given you. Choice दिया है उन्होंने, because in any case you are not going to buy everything in the market. कुछ चीज रहे, कुछ चीज आप हमेशा चूज करते हैं, तो कुछ नहीं भी ले पाए तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है। ये छोटे छोटे बातों को लेकर जो हम लोग अपसेट होते हैं या कोई नहीं मिला, तो हम लोगों का समझना काम रहता है। तो बस काम नहीं रहता, हो जाता है, मतलब ऑटोमेटिकली हो जाता है, तो हो जाता है। So this is one exercise I think everybody should follow.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah. Awesome.
Ma'am, my name is Talat Bano from Sunbeam Balia. Ma'am, we should say thank you because it is one of the magic word and it brings smile on somebody's face.
ट्रू।
So can you tell us an actual
Very
experience when
sweet.
that happened?
Yes, it does.
So can you tell us actual experience when it happened? You did that and it actually happened.
Yes, sir.
बताओ बताओ, कब हुआ, किससे हुआ, क्या हुआ, बताओ।
My friend has, I have asked, because I was absent one day in my school, so I said to send the work of today's because I was absent, so I can't do that work. She sent it me and I said thank you. So she was smiling.
Wow, so sweet.
Thank you for that. Yes, that's why. Thank you, thank you. So कुछ आई थिंक महीनों पहले हमारे पास अनिका मैम आई थी और उन्होंने हमको समझाया था कि जब हम ग्रैटिट्यूड फील करते हैं तो क्या होता है, और ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट है. आप मेंटली स्कैर्सिटी माइंडसेट से अबंडेंस माइंडसेट में आ जाते हैं और फिर आपके ऊपर प्रेशर नहीं रहता. आप फील करते हैं कि मेरे पास बहुत है और जिंदगी में भी बहुत है करने के लिए, देने के लिए, लेने के लिए. आपके पास प्रेशर कम हो जाता है. और उन्होंने ये कमेंट किया था कि जब वो सोशल सर्विस करती थी तब उनको ग्रैटिट्यूड फील हुआ और तब उनके माइंड में ये अबंडेंस माइंडसेट आ गया. मैंने सोचा सिंस दिस वाज related subject, I should just share that. Back to you, Manisha ma'am.
Yeah, that's actually wonderful, sir. So kind of you for sharing. Gratitude is not just a word. It is the feeling. It has to be accepted. So जब तक आप दिल से नहीं सोच रहे हो, दिल से नहीं बोल रहे हो, दूसरों की तरफ आप नहीं समझ रहे हो, तो प्रॉब्लम होगी. अब हॉस्टल में प्रॉब्लम क्या होती है, लाइट अगर ज्यादा जल रही है तो आप सो नहीं पाते. आपके लाइट ऑफ का एक पर्टिकुलर टाइम है, खाने का एक पर्टिकुलर टाइम है, रहने का कुछ नया तरीका है, तो सबको मिल करके चलना है. अगर 15 मिनट 20 मिनट लाइट ऑफ टाइम से एक्स्ट्रा हो गया है तो आप आपस में म्यूचुअली अग्री करके उसको आप वो करिए. बोलिए कि ठीक है, वन डे आप लाइट थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा जला लो क्योंकि आपको कुछ रीडिंग करना है, नेक्स्ट डे लाइट इस समय ऑफ हो. तो म्यूचुअली अग्रीमेंट के हिसाब से ही जब आप पढ़ोगे तब भी आपकी ये थोड़ी बहुत प्रॉब्लम जो है सॉल्व हो जाएगी. एंड यस, टुगेदर वी विल लुक इनटू इट. आपके हॉस्टल में जो टीचर्स हैं उनसे आप एक बार कंसर्न करिए, वार्डन को बोलिए, आपकी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाएगी. This is actually one of the question which I read in the chat and I thought it's required to be addressed. So I'm just sharing it openly over here with the. तो आप ये प्रॉब्लम्स जो है जब तक अपने वार्डन से शेयर नहीं करेंगे तब तक आपको प्रॉब्लम रहेगी. प्लीज शेयर विद देम एंड ट्रस्ट दे विल solve your problem. And Jugdeep sir, we have 10 minutes. Do you wish to read the GOL diaries?
हाँ, आप पढ़िए. हिंदी की बहुत बहुत अच्छी लेख हैं उसमें.
So are you
हिंदी में
opening
पढ़िए.
that?
आप मेरे को कहेंगी मैं भी पढ़ दूंगा, पर बहुत बहुत अच्छी लेख है. रीना मैम का मैंने पढ़ा था और एक और पहले भी मैंने एक पढ़ा था. बहुत अच्छे थे वो.
Yes sir.
आप शेयर कर रही हैं?
Yes, I'm just sharing. So this one I request you to read.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
आ रही है. You put me on the spot. अच्छा, ये तो मैं पढ़ लूंगा.
मनीषा मैम, ये प्रीव्यू मोड में नहीं होना चाहिए. आप ब्लॉग से करो. आपने ड्राफ्ट खोल के किया है, इसमें कंटेंट ठीक नहीं आएगा. यहाँ पे आप जॉय ऑफ लर्निंग डायरीज टाइप करो, वहां से बेटर आएगा.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Janat Saab. Sorry I couldn't join you earlier to welcome you. I just had a bit of a difficult morning, so I couldn't come in the beginning.
No problem, and thank you once again. I was telling them that I met you by a stroke of destiny.
Sir, you should bring your book along to our Teachers Academy and read someday, sir.
I think once these books are they're done with, then I think I can.
Yeah. Sir, we'll invite you to the Teachers Academy. That's on Friday.
I may not, I will just see the timings and my own, running around engagements and all. I will just get back to you. आप मेरे को share.
Yeah, Jugdeep sir, you over to you.
हाँ जी, ये किसने लिखा है मनीषा? हाँ, आपने लिखा है, फिर तो आप ही पढ़ेंगी ना?
नहीं सर, this is why I request you to read it.
नहीं 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 नहीं, आपने लिखा है, आप ही पढ़ेंगी.
This is a regular classroom situation and थोड़ा बहुत problem हो रही है बच्चों को इसके लिए because आप लिखना नहीं चाह रहे, so it's just a tug of war. So in 2025, and students have unlocked a superpower, selective hearing. Homework? Oh, that was just a suggestion, right? Deadlines, but sir, ma'am, time is a social construct. Writing assignments, pens are so last century. Can't we just send emojis? So बच्चे somehow नहीं लिखना चाह रहे, पसंद नहीं कर रहे, homework time पे नहीं हो रहा. So what is the real reason behind it? And jabki you all are very much interested in Netflix, gaming, memes, and reels, enjoy full attendance and 100% completion rates. Motivation, the old fairy godmother of education, seems to have retired. Follow your passion has been upgraded to follow whatever is fun right now. Results, balance and time management are missing in action. Probably lying somewhere between a half-finished essay and a 3-hour YouTube binge on. 10 ways cats secretly rule the world. So just is like written in a very funny way कि आप क्यों नहीं लिखना चाह रहे हो, and I want your reflection. So I'll just go to the last paragraph. If writing feels like a burden, why did every great thinker, leader, and creator, from poets to inventors, still turn to pen and paper to capture their thoughts? Maybe writing isn't about the homework at all, it's about discovering your own mind on paper. So, beta, हमेशा homework के sense में नहीं होता है. It is about the great learning which you all are required to be done. And this is why everyone, every subject teacher, or we also want you to write. So it's your turn. What do you think writing gives us that no screen or shortcut can? Write back because your thoughts matter. This is what the last thing I really want to tell you. लिखो लिखो लिखो, जब तक आप लिखोगे नहीं, आपकी दिल की बात बाहर नहीं आएगी, और जब तक वो बाहर नहीं आएगी, you will not be able to understand your path. रास्ता आपको दिखेगा नहीं, आप आगे नहीं बढ़ोगे. जब तक आप आगे नहीं बढ़ोगे, गूगल मैप भी आपको हेल्प नहीं करेगा. गूगल मैप भी तभी आपको हेल्प करता है जब आप उस रास्ते पे आते हो. घर पे बैठे बैठे नेटफ्लिक्स के आगे रहते रहते आपको कैसे गूगल मैप हेल्प करेगा? वॉक करो, भागो, दौड़ो या गाड़ी में जाओ, करना आपको ही है. So with this, over to you, sir.
Very nice, very nice. संदीप सर, आरफा के पास आरफा का सवाल है आपसे चैट में. संदीप,
I'm not sure whether sir is there. He's there.
Okay, so then I think we can close. I'm sorry, आपके काफी सवाल थे जो Q&A में रह गए, and they were actually very good questions.
Hi, Jugdeep, I'm here.
हाँ जी, तो आरफा ने आपसे सवाल पूछा है सर चैट में.
Sandeep sir, why don't you come as often? Arfa, that's a good one. So I have no answer for that, but I'm trying to read Friday evening. Why don't you join me Friday evening?
Sir,
I'm
I
reading
have
Friday and
questions
Saturday. Yeah,
I have
okay, I'll
questions
come on
also
Sunday.
about that.
I'm happy to do that. Just that I'm overwhelmed with commitments. So I'm reading Friday, I'm reading Saturday, and then Jugdeep sir was here, so I thought I could skip. But now that you asked me, okay, I will try and make it. I hope that helps.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Just by the way, all of you are welcome the Friday evening session, which is called the Brewing Knowledge session. It's at 5:30 for only 45 minutes. And we are reading something very interesting. How the brain functions. How do we store things in our brain? How do we recall from memory? And what you can do to think better. It's a book, What Did You Ask at School Today by Kamala Mukundaya. And after that, we read one Rumi story. So, Jugjeev sir, people are welcome from here, students, teachers. You can invite them Friday evening. I enjoy Friday evening because you were there the other day. I think it's very interesting how Kamala is explaining how the brain works, how the schemas happen in the brain, how the entire learning mechanism works. You can invite them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank
Important
you,
for us to
Arfa. Thank you for
understand.
thinking of me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alpha, for reminding presence matter. So, Sandeep sir, please be there with us.
So, okay, Sandeep, then your job to close the session then.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Sorry I missed meeting Pramod sir. I had a bit of a commitment in the family, so I had to go in the morning. Pramod sir just called me. He says, unbelievable. He called me specially and said it was very exciting to go to my good school. And from what I can gather from the conversation, I also have a message from Nilashi Mangal. She's here, I think. Nilashi is a new volunteer who has joined us, Jugjeev.
Right. I saw the email. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's also joined in. She also sent a message. She thoroughly enjoyed the session with Pramod sir. So Jugjeev, send him a vote of thanks, please.
Yeah. No,
So we'll send him a vote of thanks. It's lovely being here. We are curating more books. We are doing more work. We are signing on more projects, special projects. So that's why I have got a little stretched. So currently we are working on two things. One, like we started the Arthur Food Academy, very soon we'll announce the next special project in Uttarakhand. We have done the work for that. We are going to work with a school near Rudraprayag. So like all of you supported the Arthur Food Academy project, you should look forward to going to Rudraprayag and working with the school. It's a small village called Bhatwadi, and we are going to set up a community learning center like we have done in the Arthur Food Academy. But the beautiful thing here is there are only 2 students and 6 teachers. It's a government school on the verge of extinction. So that's the school we have got. I think this is going to be a very exciting project for us to do with 2 students and 6 teachers and a school campus. So Jugjeev sir, that's the next challenge we've been given to put right. So we will see how we can adapt, but obviously we need to connect with them, with those 2 students and those 6 teachers. So first task will be to put up the hardware there so that they can join us. So look forward to that. Thank you for remembering me. I love being here, but it's just that I've got too much happening. That's all. I will try and come and read more, and thank you for appreciating our work. Jugjeev sir, General Saab is here. We'd like to give him a special thank you.
No, absolutely. Very lovely that he stayed with us right through.
Yeah, General Saab, thank you so much. We look forward to your coming to my good school to read on a Sunday.
Yes.
Thank you, Manisha. General Saab, it was just your effort. You walked in yesterday to the, what do they call? The Lion's Den. Like the Lion's Den. यहाँ जो आता है, बस उसके बाद बाहर नहीं जा सकता यहाँ से. But alive अंदर रहता है, बाहर alive नहीं जाएगा.
You will be surprised. I'll share you a photograph. My study room in my house, I have put a poster outside, Tiger's Den. Nobody outside allowed unless permitted or unless on duty. So I'll show you that photograph. And I also have a den. And you never know, I walked into your den or you walked into my den.
So anyway, let the tigers roar. That's the whole spirit at my good school. And
Yeah.
tigers roar is a very nice synonym for our school here, because here everyone finds a voice, and that's why I'm saying let the tiger roar. You must have seen gingerly, slowly, people do talk, which perhaps they don't get a chance in their classrooms. And that is the whole idea of my good school, where we read together, we reflect, and we build relationships. And the relationships we build here go a long way, sir.
Yeah.
On that note, thank you, sir. Thank you, Jugjeev, sir, for letting me close the session.
Thank you. Jai Hind.
Bye. See you, Jai Hind.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Bye bye.